Let's go.
One of our channel members, Ball13, gave me an absolutely epic Pokemon challenge. And it was the most voted on idea for you guys for the 1500 subs thank you video. Everybody wanted to see, can the guy who does the most luck-based strategies on YouTube produce a run with no cheese? No luck whatsoever. You see, because when we talk about luck, there are a lot of different kinds of luck. There's impossible luck, there's improbable luck, and there's no luck whatsoever. And I always like to go for extremes, so we are going directly to try to make a run where there is no luck in any aspect of the game whatsoever. But that's a pretty tall order, because these games are completely broken. And even your favorite Pokemon runner probably uses a lot of luck in their runs. So let's get this started. Starting out here, going to Professor Oak's lab, we're going to pick up our starter. And we are about to find the single biggest source of luck in the game. We are going to take our Pikachu and let's go ahead and check its stats. Okay, but what if we reset now and get another Pikachu? Its stats are completely different. And we can sit here and repeat this over and over and over again. And we're gonna keep finding that our Pikachu will have slightly different stats every single time that we pick it up. What the heck is going on here? Well, this is the effect of DVs, or IVs as they are known in later generations. Basically, the game generates some random variations in stats for every Pokemon, and there are 65,536 combinations. Now, most Pokemon runners run their Pokemon on max DVs, a 1 in 65,000 chance. But that means that they have the best possible stats. However, if our strategy only worked because we had the best possible stats, that wouldn't be 100% consistent and without using any luck. So instead, we need to run our Pokemon on 0 DVs to make sure that we have the worst possible stats. Now you might be saying, well, this is already splitting hairs, dude. Like, why do you care about the stats of your starting Pokemon so much? Well, at level 5, this Pikachu's stats vary between 10 to 20% based on its DVs. And when we go up to level 50, it gets massive. That's a 42% difference in its defense stat at level 50, just from having max DVs versus 0 DVs. This is completely broken, and this is the reason why every single Pokemon challenge you've probably ever seen on YouTube is completely luck-based. They are either using randomly generated DVs, or most runners are using max DVs, giving themselves this massive stat boost. That's ridiculous. So in order to make sure our run is completely consistent and not dependent on luck for DVs, we're going to run on 0 DVs, just like this channel always does. So that is the first serious form of luck taken out of the game. There we go, folks. We've just proven that we are the single most consistent Pokemon running channel on YouTube. Boom! Mic drop. Okay, let's get back to the run. So now we're going to pick up our 0 DVs Pikachu. And we're going to open up and just make sure that it actually has the correct stats. Perfect. There we go. And now we can finally try to fight Rival 1. So with that being done, let's just get into the fight and the strategy. Let's use Thunder Shock. Oh my god, we just found the next source of luck. Thunder Shock is supposed to be 100% accurate, but in Generation 1, even 100% accurate moves have a 1 in 256 chance to miss. This is ridiculous, because if there's a 1 in 256 chance that we could miss our opponent, if we get enough of those misses in a row, they could knock us out, meaning that we don't have a 100% consistent run. Ball 13 specifically said that we must only use 100% accurate moves. This is terrible, because what move can we use that's perfectly accurate? Well, there are 3 moves that fit this bill in the game: Swift, Bide, and Counter. Bide and Counter depend on attacks from our opponents, and they're not available until much later in the game. But one Pokemon does have Swift at the start of the game. Folks, we're gonna have to do this run with a Mewtwo. With Swift, our 0DV's Mewtwo is absolutely wrecking the rival. It's not even close. We are knocking him out every single time. And moving on to Viridian Forest, it's more of the same. The bug catchers, Caterpie, really just can't do anything to us. So, based on the fact that we have amazing stats even at 0DVs with our Mewtwo, and the fact that we're using Swift, which can never miss, we are actually able to guarantee that this is a 3-hit KO, and we can get through this fight. So now let's move on to Brock, where we can only use Swift. Psychic and Confusion could miss him. So here we're going to spam Swift and we get taken out. And now we've got to level up, but that creates a whole nother issue. Look at these Mewtwo's. One Mewtwo was leveled up by fighting the Geodude over and over and over again. We actually just used Psychic to knock it out, and then intentionally losing against the Onix. The second Mewtwo was leveled up by only fighting level 2 Pidgeys and Rattatas. The one that fought low-level Pokemon has much higher stats at the same level. Why? Well, this is the effect of stat experience. And anytime you watch a solo run where somebody fights wild Pokemon or optional trainers, they are creating little adjustments in their stats based on what Pokemon they beat and how many Pokemon they beat. Meaning that this is another source of ridiculous luck. So in order to be 100% consistent, we're going to have to level up with rare candies. Meaning we're going to have to break the game again. We're going to have to Game Shark in rare candies and level up until we are able to beat our opponent. Because if we beat our opponent with no additional stat experience, then we can say that it's actually 100% consistent. So here, leveling up to level 14, we're getting pretty close. We take down the Geodude, and we're starting to whittle down this Onix. So we're getting fairly low on health, but we do manage to take it out. So we gotta repeat this a bunch of times now to make sure that it's actually consistent though. Because if we lose even one time, that means it's not 100% consistent. We don't have a 100% win rate, meaning that we have to level up. So now we're going back at level 15, and we have to grind this again and again and again and again. And it really comes down to this. If Onix cannot knock us out with Bide or after using several Screeches, we get through. So here, we are whittling him down, we've still got amazing HP, and we knock him out. So after having repeated that tons of times, I'm feeling pretty good. Let's go to the next route and fight our opponents, and oh no. We just found another massive form of luck. Because if our opponents use status moves on us, things like Tail Whip, String Shot, etc., they're going to raise our stats through what's called the Badge Boost glitch. And if they use the Badge Boost glitch on us, well, our entire run could become luck-based, dependent on how many Badge Boosts we get. So now we have to adjust our run yet again. This is ridiculous. But I have a solution. We're going to use this Game Shark code to take away our badges anytime that we're in battle. So by having no badges in battle, we'll have no badge boosts, meaning that we won't ever win a battle based on that kind of luck. Let's see how this goes. So now with badge boosts disabled, we can get back into all of these fights, and really nothing on the route to Mount Moon has any impact here. We're one-shotting all of these Pokemon. It's very, very easy. So we're just going to continue on into Mount Moon and fight the Super Nerd. So we're just going to fight him over and over and over again to find if this is consistent. And oh no, we found another source of luck. You see, we just got disabled and we're only allowed to use Swift. So if Swift gets disabled, we would have to resort to a move that could suffer from the 1 in 256 glitch, meaning that this is no longer 100% consistent. So there's only one solution. We have to level up until we can one-shot this Grimer. Because even if it took 20 misses for us to ever lose the battle, which is whatever this ridiculous number is right here, that's still a greater than 0% chance to lose the fight. And if there's even a 1 in 100 billion chance that we lose the fight, it's not 100% consistent. So there we go, folks. We've got to just level up until we can guarantee that we knock this Grimer out every single time. So here we go. We are just power leveling, and every time that we don't knock it out, we just immediately reset. And here around level 25, it's starting to look like it's happening sometimes. Is it high enough though? No, we still had a luck-based range, so we had to go to level 26. And here, finally at level 26, it's looking pretty darn consistent. We one-shot the Grimer, one-shot the Voltorb. It's a 2-hit KO on Coughing, but Coughing can't use any status on us or anything that could prevent us from winning the fight, so we just take it down. Jesse and James, they're no problem. Because again, their Pokemon don't have any status moves. We one-shot Ekans, one-shot Meowth, and it's a 2-hit KO on Coughing, and we can move on to Cerulean City, where the junior trainer causes us no problems at all. She's very, very easily taken out by our Mewtwo with Swift. It's a 2-hit KO. Next, we can go to Misty herself. And we're so incredibly overleveled because we had to one-shot that Grimer that we one-shot the Staryu, and it's going to take about 3 hits to take out the Starmie because it used a defense boost, but we can repeat this battle over and over and over again, and it's very, very consistent. So now we'll move on to Rival 2, where Swift one-shots Spearow. It's a 2-hit KO on Sandshrew, 1 hit on Rattata, and 2 hits on Eevee. Now you might be saying, well, what about Sand Attack? That could cause you to miss and lose. No, because Swift bypasses accuracy checks, so we always win that fight. And moving on through all the trainers going to Bill's house, they're more the same. We're just so massively overleveled now because we're trying to guarantee 100% win rates that we're just one-shotting everything. And the reason we're taking every fight over and over again is just in case there's a small chance that, based on ranges or based on luck, we could lose the fight. But even as we make our way to the final last, it's completely consistent. We beat all of those trainers without any need to level up. So now we're just going to save Bill from his Pokemon experimentations, and we can get on to the single most difficult trainer in the entire game. That's right, folks. It's time for the Innocent Bystander. Now, the Innocent Bystander, we take 2 hits to take out Machop. That's fine. But here, it's a 2-hit KO on Drowsy. And we can run this several times, but we run into a problem. Drowsy knows Hypnosis, which could put us to sleep for up to 7 turns in Gen 1, and you can't hit the turn that you wake up. And it knows Disable. So now we've got to level up until we can one-shot this Drowsy. And that's going to require quite a few level ups, folks. Here, we're already getting up to level 30. It's still not completely consistent, so we're going to have to level up more and more. What level are we going to be able to do this at? Well, it's looking here like at level 32, we are strong enough to one-shot the Machop and the Drowsy every single time. There are only 2 required trainers on the way to Vermilion City, and we take them out very easily. So let's try Rival 3. It's a 1-hit KO on Spearow, a 1-hit on Rattata, still 2 hits on the Sandshrew, and 2 hits on the Eevee. But again, Sand Attack doesn't affect us because we don't have an accuracy check on Swift, so we're just crushing that fight. So we can get cut from the captain and go ahead and move on with our run. But I decide let's not fight Lieutenant Surge yet. Let's go ahead and fight the trainers on the way through Rock Tunnel instead. And here, against the first Rapping Lass, we already found trouble because we got paralyzed. Paralysis has a 1 in 4 chance that we won't move, meaning that there's a chance that we could lose the game. So it only takes 1 level to get this one fairly consistent at level 33, so we knock out her Pokemon and move on. But the next bug catcher presents another trouble, because here, he has Disable on his Venonat. And if it can disable Swift, that would result in us losing because we cannot use any move that's less than 100% accurate. So now we have to level up again. What level is this consistent at? Well, it's looking like it's going to be level 38. Yeah. At level 38, we one-shot Weedle, we one-shot Caterpie, and we one-shot the Venonat. So finally, we're getting massively overleveled here, but now we can go fight the Pokemaniac. Cubone's a 2-hit KO, and it's a 2-hit KO on the Slowpoke, but the Slowpoke also knows Disable. So now we've got to be able to one-shot a Slowpoke. What level does that happen at? Well, we're going to grind it out and level up. Here at level 48, it's a 2-hit KO on the Cubone, but it used Growl on us. And Growl lowers our attack, meaning that there's a chance that we wouldn't knock out the Slowpoke, so now we've got to level up until we can one-shot the Cubone as well. So what level is this going to be possible at? Here, we're at level 53 to one-shot both of those Pokemon to make this battle 100% consistent. So we're going to grind it multiple times and just double check that it's actually 100% consistent. There we go. Level 53 seems like it is the correct level to eliminate all luck. But now we've got to go to the next Pokemaniac who also has a Slowpoke, and we don't one-shot it. So now we've got to level up again. What level is this possible at? Well, level 55. At level 55, we one-shot it every time. The next junior trainer with her grass types is no problem. We just one-shot both of them. And now we can move on to the Rock Tunnel Hiker. Now you might be thinking the Rock Tunnel Hiker should be really hard, but Self-Destruct did basically nothing to us. And these are all 2-hit KOs. Here's the deal. When Pokemon only use attacking moves against us, they don't have any status moves, getting a 100% win rate is pretty trivial. The final junior trainer, all of our Pokemon go down in 1 hit, so we can get to Rival 4. Here against Rival 4, it's a 1-hit on Fearow, it's a 1-hit on Magnemite, it's a 1-hit on Shellder, it's a 1-hit on Sandshrew, and it's a 1-hit on Eevee because we're so massively overleveled. So we can just grind this over and over again just to make sure that there's no random luck, it's not a range, we can't be paralyzed, anything. No, it's perfectly consistent. So now against the Gambler on the way to Celadon, hey, we just one-shot both of his Pokemon. So now we can make our way to the Rocket hideout, and we still have no badges as we can see. So we're just going to take these Pokemon out, and they're all easy one-shots. Even when we go down to the second Rocket, it's more the same. We just one-shot both of his Pokemon, pick up the lift key. Let's get to Jesse and James, where it's another one-shot fest. Great. This is just turning into, if you want to beat the game without any luck, just one-shot all of your opponents. So here, now against Giovanni, it takes a couple hits to take out the Onix and a couple hits to take down the Rhyhorn, and we are going to use 2 hits to take down the Persian. But Again, this one's perfectly consistent because they have no status moves, they have no way to prevent us from ever hitting them, and they're easy KOs. So we're just going to knock them out over and over and over again to prove that this is 100% consistent, and then we can finally take out the last Persian and pick up the Sylph Scope. So there we go. We have gotten the Sylph Scope. Now we can escape from here and let's go fight Lieutenant Surge. Let's see if he's possible at this point. So I'm just going to dig out and let's go to Lieutenant Surge's gym. We still have no badges, so no badge boosts. And let's fight this Raichu. Now, Raichu could paralyze us with Thunderbolt, but I accidentally used Confusion there. Let's try this properly. Swift is a one-hit KO. Here, we're just too massively overleveled, so we take him out. Let's go to Erica's gym. Let's try her out. The first trainer has an Execute, which we one-shot, and even if we didn't, it's never going to use Hypnosis or Reflect because we're a Psychic-type Pokemon, and the Beauty has Smart AI. So that was 100% consistent already. Let's go fight Erica. Here against Erica, it's going to be a 2-hit KO on Tangela. And then it's going to be a 2-hit KO on the Weepin' Bell, and a 2-hit KO at our current level on the Gloom. But we're going to encounter a problem, because, well, Tangela doesn't really matter. Here, Weepin' Bell survived and used Stun Spore on us. And it also knows Sleep Powder. Stun Spore and Sleep Powder could result in us losing the fight, so we've got to level up until we can one-shot the Weepin' Bell and the Gloom. Well, what level's that going to be possible at? Here, we're going to be grinding for a little while in order to find that level. And what level will that be? Well, here we're getting all the way up to level 65. It's still a 2-hit KO on Tangela, but it's a one-shot on Weepin' Bell and a one-shot on Gloom. We can repeat it over and over again, and Tangela has no status moves, so this is perfectly consistent. So there we go, we've gotten through 4 gyms. There's no luck in our run whatsoever. Now we just gotta go and take out the Pokemon Tower. Yeah, wait, the Pokemon Tower? We've got to fight Channelers here, and they have Ghastlies, and Swift can't affect a Ghastly. So no matter how many times we try to use this move, we're just gonna get knocked out by the Ghastly, even though it's only level 23. Okay, I have an idea. We're going to learn Bide. Bide can hit ghosts in Generation 1. So as long as we can get hit by the Ghastly and return the damage, we should be able to win. So I'm going to set up Barrier first, just in case we hit ourselves in Confusion, we'll do less damage. Then we're going to set up Bide, and hopefully take a Nightshade from it, and hopefully not hit ourselves in Confusion too many times, but let's just see if this is possible. So here we set up Bide. We are trying to hopefully take a Nightshade from this one. And there we go. We did decent damage, okay, but it's 2 Nightshades in order to be able to knock it out with Bide. So let's just repeat this a few more times to see if we can get through this. We're on the second Ghastly, and we're getting pretty low on health here at level 65. So clearly we've got to level up so that we'll be able to survive enough Nightshades from our opponent. Now we get a few advantages, because when we reach level 70, we're going to be able to learn Recover. And Recover will basically allow us to heal up the damage. So here we're going to get knocked out at level 69, but let's use the Rare Candy and get Recover now at level 70. So now we've got a pretty complicated strategy. We're trying to set up our barriers first. Then anytime we get low health, we're going to recover. And the rest of the time, we're going to use Bide to try to get enough damage accumulated to knock these Pokemon out. So here we're just going to spam bide over and over and over again. We take a Nightshade, but we're getting pretty low on health, so we're going to try to recover. It didn't work that time, so we clearly just have to level up more and more. What level is this actually going to become possible at, though? And will it ever be 100% consistent? Well, I grinded here for quite a while at level 70 just to see. And we can see that there are a few times where we win this fight. It's not like this is impossible to get through. This strategy is perfectly fine. But is it consistent 100% of the time? Because those are the requirements of this run. No luck whatsoever. Well, we're going to level up more and more and find out if it ever becomes perfectly consistent. So we're just going to have to keep grinding over and over and over again, and here we're at level 100, and we can definitely see that we're winning this fight a lot of times. So maybe it's become 100% consistent at this point. But remember, if the strategy has no luck whatsoever, then if we produce even one battle that we lose, it's not perfectly consistent. So let's check this one here. We are going to go ahead and set up our barriers first, because we always use barrier to reduce the damage we do to ourselves when we hit ourselves in confusion. There are no badge boosts, so there's nothing funny going on there. And now we're going to try to use bide. But we can see we're getting confused a lot of times here. And there's a problem. We just hit it with bide one time, but we've used up a lot of PP. Why? Well, when we use bide and we get confused and we subsequently hit ourselves in confusion, it uses the PP for bide, but it doesn't damage our opponent. Meaning that we have to set up bide again, and here we finally get through the first Ghastly, but we're all the way down to 1 PP on bide. And we didn't knock the second Ghastly out. So now we have no way to knock this Ghastly out. Swift cannot hit it. And you might be saying, oh, well, you just need to use some PP ups, right? You picked them up in Celadon, so use the PP ups, you'll have enough PP and you'll get through it. That's not the point. This battle and this run was set to be 100% consistent. We have already eliminated every possible source of luck that we could from the game. But the only way that we could get through this one here would be to give ourselves infinite PP. The same as what the game has, but on infinite PP, that would be just completely broken. That would be so ridiculous. If your strategy relies on infinite PP, think about that. So here we're just gonna die a slow death. And you might be saying, well, what about when the Ghastly struggles because it runs out of PP? In Generation 1, your opponents don't have PP. So they never run out of moves, meaning that they will never use struggle and they can never knock themselves out. And when we go to struggle, in Gen 1, struggle is counted as a normal type move, meaning struggle does not work on ghost Pokemon. So even after we use up all of our PP, we will never be able to win this fight. So it's just a slow, steady death by 1,000 paper cuts from this weak little level 23 Ghastly, completely wrecking our Mewtwo because we're not allowed to use inaccurate moves. And I can hear you already yelling at the video, we didn't mean you couldn't use Psychic, we didn't mean you couldn't use Confusion. But when you are demanding 100% consistency, as some folks who commented on my post did, well, you are demanding something that is actually impossible in the game. And that opens a whole can of worms of what level of consistency is actually acceptable. Why does it have to be 99%? Why does it have to be 90%? Why does it have to be 80%? It's just an arbitrary number. So we're going to get into, in the next video, what level of consistency I think is actually reasonable for a challenge in the game. And I'm going to show you my idea of a consistent run. One where we eliminate all of the luck that we can from the game, meaning no randomization based on our DVs, no randomness based on stat experience, and no randomization based on badge boosts. And we're going to see if we can beat the game in a reasonable but consistent way. So I'm going to get into that next week. I hope you liked this one, but if you didn't, drop your comments down below. Tell me what I missed. So with that being said, I'm finished here today. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Later.